Welcome, everybody. For those, buonasera, thought I'd throw that in there. Perseverance, risk-taking, determination, flexibility. How is it that we can incorporate these things into our character? How do we learn these things? I think there's prerequisites for that before we acquire those skills, if you want to call them that. Prerequisites like humility, for example. Do you know the three hardest things for people to say? The three hardest things for people to say? I'm sorry. I was wrong. I need your help. Once again, I'm sorry. I was wrong and I need your help. So when I look at my social milieu, if I look at the people around me, I look for people who have that capability because it's very important. You know, see, for me, the most important thing in life, I'd say to this point, this old age, is responsibility. Responsibility, you know, you've got to learn to carry a load. I want to be useful. I want to carry something. I want to carry something in life. That's really super important to me. Responsibility. So for me, it all started with moms and dad. Black man married a white woman in 1958. Not a good idea. Yeah. Okay, so it was illegal in the U.S., but thankfully my parents came to Canada. Now, while they did manage to avoid segregation, blacks over here, whites over here, they did suffer a lot of discrimination. And subsequently, the four kids, you know, we went through not as much as they did, but we also suffered that as well. And I know my father did not want me to go through what he went through. So my father, I remember I was in the fourth grade, grade 4, and my father said to me, son, you need to be twice as good just to be considered equal. Twice as good just to be considered equal. And I'm like, why do I have to be twice as good? I mean, come on, man, I'm as good as that guy. No. Sorry, son, that's the world you live in. And I'm like, okay, if that's the deal, that's the deal. And I have, of course, had my heroes. Martin Luther King was one of my heroes. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with MLK, but he had so many famous speeches and so many great, you know, he's such a great orator. And there's one particular thing that he had, you know, Martin with that big booming voice, you know, and he had this one, now is the time. And he'd be like, no, not next year, not 50 years from now. Now is the time to make real the promises of your potential. Now is the time. So, man, I'm in grade 4, and I'm just like shaking in my boots. I'm like, yeah, that works for me. I got potential. I am somebody. I have potential. I am somebody. My friends can count on me. I am somebody. Now, one of these things is not like the other. Can you guess which one just doesn't belong? All right. So this is me in my small little hometown, Belleville, Ontario. I could be in the most obscure place on the planet Earth, and if somebody calls me Howie, I'm like, oh, my God, you're from Belleville. All right? I know somebody from my own hometown. Only black family in town, right? And so that was cool. I had some really good friends, and I managed, my father and mom and dad managed to sort of, you know, throw that cloak of protection around me so that I didn't, you know, feel discriminated against, et cetera. But it was there. It was alive and well. I was just lucky I wasn't really seeing it. I was just like, you know, seeing the bigger picture. You know, I wanted to be twice as good. So in every sport I played, I wanted to be the man. You know, everything that I did, I wanted to be the best at it. Not just because, not in an egocentric way. I wanted to be the best at it because I wanted to be the best version of me. I'm carrying a load. I'm carrying a responsibility. And that responsibility for me is to be the best version of me that I can be. Always learning, always growing. You've got to find that. So here I am, big afro, little kid, small hometown. And I'm running around saying, you know what? I want to go to the Olympics. I want to play football. I want to play basketball. You know, I want it all. I'm going to win an Oscar and Grammy. I'm going to be an actor. Now, in my hometown, you know, population 12, you know, I'm running around saying all these things. And you know what people in my town are saying? People in my town are sort of like, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah. Hey, who's laughing? Who's laughing? Who's laughing? You know what that means? If you know what that means, you're in trouble. All right, so these were the things that I wanted to do. This was my fourth grade, you know. These are the things I wanted to do. And so in order to do these things, you know, I needed a plan. So while people were out partying, doing their thing, I was working out. I was just trying to work on myself, make myself better, learning. I had, you know, God forbid I had clarinet lessons and, you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, I played the clarinet in the concert band, and I played the saxophone in the stage band. You know, and a lot of times I didn't love it, but getting better. carry a load. I'm carrying a load. I can, when those times when I'm afraid, I feel alone, etc., at least I know that I can move something from here to there, right? Me. I can always be working on a better version of me. So I went through high school and things were great. I was at the top of my game, little skinny me, got into real big me, and I was just dominating everything. And then, that's my 13th year, some of you in the 13th year, I had an accident with my knees. I'm dreaming about university sports and going pro, and then I had an accident with my knees, and the doctor said, sorry, you're done. No more sports for you. You'll never be able to play sports again. And I'm like, what do you mean never? He's like, N-E-V-E-R, never? And I'm like, okay, smartass, are you trying to tell me like it's impossible? Well, no, it's not impossible, but it's improbable. Hey, listen, that's all I wanted to hear. It's not impossible. If it's not impossible, that's all I'm hanging on to. All right? So I need a new plan. Got to have a plan, right? So I had a plan, but now this plan has changed. So now I need a new plan because there's certain things I can't do, right? So I'm spending the next 4 or 5 years in physiotherapy. I'm learning, how to run again. And some of the things that I could do, I could sort of run in a straight line. I could run in a straight line. And so I got started to do athletics. I knew I wasn't going to be the world's best in athletics, but I needed to do something, right? I'm carrying a load. I'm carrying the whole knee thing. I'm carrying the negativity from the doctors. I'm carrying it. That's okay. I can carry it. So unbeknownst to me was a sport called bobsleigh. And what's the most important thing in bobsleigh is driving and pushing. And as it turns out, I could push something real heavy real fast because I was strong and I only had to run 30 meters. So I'm like, damn, okay, I can do that. And it just so happens, God willing, and don't ask me why, but the first competition I went to, I won a bronze medal at World Championships in Riga in Latvia. And I was sort of like, yeah, I like this sport, right? And then from there, I leveraged, I was getting stronger. Now this has been like 10 years since high school. Now I'm going to the Olympic Games. So like, wow, this is cool. Let me just get my checklist. Olympics. Check that off. All right, now we came 12th in the Olympics out of 50, but hey, we got there. So I leveraged that strength. One of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to play football. So I was very fortunate. I leveraged that strength into creating an opportunity, always developing myself, always being ready to play football. I got to play in the National Football League, and the Canadian Football League, and the Arena Football League. Had my own little sports card, my little trading card. I could sign that and hand it to fans. It was great. And then I leveraged that into playing professional basketball. Now, that was basically, that was one of the jobs that I had. I created for myself because now I'm a lot stronger. The knee thing is coming along. Because what I did, and we'll get to that in a minute, but I just jumped in my car. I got to be an actor. $300 in my pocket, my car, and I just drove to Hollywood. Here we come. Nowhere to live. I'm just like, I can do this. Why not? I hear about people doing it all the time. Why not me? And of course, through the course of my life, I was lucky. I played a lot of sports at the high level. So I played baseball and golf and tennis, and I enjoyed it. I was having a ball. And then of course I moved to LA. I'm at the top of my game. Everything is great. I'm like, I start doing movies. I'm on a television show. I made my national television debut with Halle Berry. She's hot as hot could be. And my fiance's up there though. Just kidding, honey. Yeah, everything's good. I'm on Mount Everest. This is great. I'm following the dream. And then one day, I get a call. I get a call from the doctor. Now the doctor never calls you. The nurse does, the receptionist, they want to make an appointment, that kind of stuff. But you never get to talk to the doctor unless you have an actual visit. So the doctor called me. I remember what I was doing at the time. Phone rings. I'm like, hey, how you doing? And he says, this is Howard. This is Dr. Let's call him Dr. Johnson. Do you have a minute? And all I could think of was, this can't be good. Do you have a minute? So we talked for like 15, 18 minutes, I think it was. And I only remember 2 things that he said. And the first thing was, do you have a minute? The second thing that he said was, do you have your affairs in order? And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? So anyway, long story short, I have a very rare liver disease. You got 3, maybe 6 months to live. Sorry. I'm a bearer of bad news. And I'm like, okay, I need a new plan. I need a new plan because I'm just at the top of my game, and someone just told me that life as I know it is going to be over. That's not working for me. I didn't tell anybody. They gave me 3 to 6 months to live. I didn't tell anybody for a year. Yeah, that's how stubborn I was. I'm like, hell no, I'm not going. But the hard thing was, you got to tell your friends, you got to tell your family, right? You all have friends in here, maybe your best friends in here. Just imagine looking over and telling your best friend, I'm sorry, but I love you, but I'm going to die. That's what the doctor says. That's your friend. And just imagine having to tell your mom. You got to tell my mom, your little boy is going to die. And I'm just like, Mom, I'm going to do that. I'm not telling my mom I'm going to die. It isn't going to happen because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to let my mom down. Mom and Dad, no way. Love you, but it ain't going to happen. So, no treatment, no cure. That's what they told me. No treatment, no cure. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get a plan. And so what happened was I sold everything I had, went to the bank, borrowed money, figured if I was dead, I didn't have to pay it back, and traveled the world trying to stay alive. If they were doing voodoo somewhere, I showed up. I mean, I tried everything. And then, sadly, I came to an end. Instead of 3 to 6 months, it was like 2 years and 9 months, and I came to an end. And, I had hours to live, and I got lucky. Liver transplant, liver became available. And I got a liver transplant. My sister was with me. She got to tell my mom, said, yeah, your baby boy ain't going to die. And all I could think of was, I told you. Death ain't going to get me. I told you. So I was pretty happy about that. As bad as that is, I'm carrying a load. I am somebody I can carry a load. I am somebody. I'm not going to let my friends down. I am somebody. And so I just kept moving forward with that. I can handle that. I can carry that load because I'm alive. Now, that's just a picture of my drug tray. Rest of your life, every single day, you mess up, you die. No mistakes. No mistakes. But that's okay. I can carry that load. I can be responsible. So I heard about this thing called the Transplant Games, and I was like, okay, cool. I can do the Transplant Games. I can measure myself. So this was me like 6 months after my transplant, winning my first national championship. I got 2 gold and 1 silver. I entered 5 events, so I guess I got my butt handed to me too. Just like didn't get a medal. I was a little upset about that. I heard there's a world championship too. There's a world championship. It's like an Olympics for people who've had transplant. So I'm like, okay, I'm a little nervous. Got to measure myself against the planet Earth. But I went there and I did well. I was like, okay, 3 gold medal, 1 silver, and I got 0 in the 5th event. Nothing. And so I said, I need a plan. You can't do anything without a plan. You need a plan, right? So I said, I'm going to come back here in 2 years. And I'm going to enter 5 events. I don't want 5 gold medals. I don't want 5 gold medals. I want 5 world records. I want to be the best person ever stood in this podium. That's what I want. I want to be the healthiest man I can be. I'm going to carry that load. I'm going to be responsible. I'm going to move from here to there, and I'm going to do it with pride. So, 2 years later, in South Africa, when you come to South Africa, you must go on safari. I got my 5 world records and my 5 gold medals. Now, there's a bronze there. I got that in the relay, but I didn't care. So, transplant's over. I'm back on top of my game. I didn't come this far just to come this far. I did not go through that just to, it can't stop here. I got to keep going. Life moves forward. Life moves on. So, back to the red carpet. Yeah. You rolling when you were on the red carpet. Hey, Mr. Dell, can we talk to you? Oh, yes. Hi, can I help you? Hi, I'm from Entertainment Tonight. Huh? Yeah. I want to ask you questions. It's great. Great experience. I'm doing films. That's on the left of my good buddy, Florian Piercek Jr. Great actor, great man. Steven Seagal on the other side. I'll just say it's Steven Seagal. That's it. I'm not going to make it. Hopefully he doesn't watch this TEDx. Love you, Steve. And I got back to music. It's my favorite thing. I'm performing with people like David Foster, world famous music producer. Even in Romania, the artists here would ask me to come to the shows and perform. That was with Laura Donna. So that was a lot of fun. And just before COVID, a year before COVID, I got to compete for Romania in athletics, and I was Balkan champion, national champion. Picked up a couple of European medals, all for Romania. Hi, Romania. Hi. I'm all good there. And I even got to do a little something on The Voice. And that was interesting and fun. I could tell you stories about that show for days. but a lot of fun. And right before COVID hit, right as COVID hit, get the phone call again. You have stage 4 colon cancer. And I'm like, yeah, got to carry the load again, right? Got to carry it. Always getting better, always moving forward. I'm sort of like, okay, I'm prepared. What do I got to do? And they said, well, you have to have your entire colon removed. Your large intestine has to come out. And I'm like, well, okay, I guess you got to do what you got to do. And it's strange because when you think about the liver transplant, when I think about the liver transplant, for example, you want to talk about carrying a load, being responsible. Somebody had to die in order for me to be here today. A man was in a car accident, left his wife and kids, and his liver's inside of me. I have somebody else's organ inside of me. That can mess with your mind. That's a load you got to carry. That's a responsibility you have to carry, and you got to live with that. And so I have a responsibility always to be the best version of me that I can be because of that, right? So I went and had my colon removed, and it is what it is. I'm starting to feel like I'm back on top of that again. It was hard, but hey, it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. I like the term, I am somebody. I am somebody. Mom and Dad, I will not let you down. I am somebody. I believe in me. I am somebody. I will have faith. I will keep hope alive. I am somebody. So what I would like in closing is for, it's a small crowd, but you must have some big voices. So just for me, I want the crowd, I want to hear everybody say, I am somebody. I want you to repeat after me, all right? We good? All right, here we go. I am somebody. Oh, that was weak. Come on now. Michael Jackson with his little voice could probably do that a little louder. All right? One more time. I am somebody. I am somebody. I am somebody. I am somebody. Right on. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.